The mathematical architecture of Lutsk Castle. Lutsk Castle is built in the shape of a giant triangle. It has 3 high towers connected by thick defensive walls. The main entrance tower is about 28 meters tall. Each tower looks like a tall rectangular prism. The walls are very strong, reaching up to 3 meters in thickness. The castle's layout is almost an equilateral triangle, meaning its sides are nearly equal. You can see arches, parts of a circle, above the gates and windows. The whole castle is made of thousands of small red bricks called cuboids. If you add the lengths of all 3 walls, you will find the castle's perimeter. You can even see this mathematical masterpiece on the 200 hryvnia bill.
Kamianets-Podilsky Fortress. Kamianets-Podilsky Fortress is one of the most beautiful castles in Ukraine. It is in the city of Kamianets-Podilsky. The fortress is very old. It was built many hundreds of years ago. The castle has big stone walls and tall towers. In the past, it protected the city from enemies. Many soldiers lived there and guarded the fortress. Today, many tourists visit the fortress. They can walk.
Is an example of the combination of history and mathematics in architecture. During its construction, precise calculations were used because the fortress had to be strong and reliable. The plan of the castle has the shape of a polygon, and the walls and towers are arranged to provide maximum defense. The towers have a cylindrical shape, which is related to the geometry of a circle. Round towers could withstand attacks better than square ones because the force was distributed more evenly. The thickness and height of the walls were carefully calculated to resist attacks and support the weight of the structure. The loopholes are placed at equal distances, creating symmetry and order. Thus, Khotin Castle is an example of mathematical architecture, where geometry, proportions, and precise measurements helped create a majestic and defensive structure.
Hello, I'm Alice. I'll tell you about Koziatinsky Railway Station. Imagine that a huge stone ship has sailed right into the middle of the city. That's exactly what the railway station in Koziatin looks like. If you look at it from the side, its shape resembles an old steamship with decks and porthole windows. Small Blue Diamond. The station stands between the railway tracks, like on an island. Trains arrive from both sides. That's why it is called an island-type station. Small Blue Diamond. It is over 130 years old. It was opened in the 19th century, when people traveled in long dresses and hats, and trains were steam-powered, releasing clouds of steam. It has witnessed wars, evacuations, joyful reunions, and tears of farewell. They say that if you look closely at the old walls, it feels as if they hold thousands of stories.
The Magic of Math, Letichev Monastery. The Dominican monastery in Letichev is a very old and beautiful building. It is not just a church, it is a mix of art and mathematics, shapes and circles. Long ago people built a big stone castle here to protect the town. The most famous part is the huge round tower. Why is it a circle? Because the cylinder shape is very strong. It was hard for enemies to break these round walls.
Medzhibizh Castle is an old castle in Ukraine. It is in the town of Medzhibizh, near 2 rivers, the Southern Bug and the Buzhok. The first fort was built many years ago, but the stone castle appeared in the 14th century. Later, in the 16th century, rich princes made the castle stronger. They built big white walls and tall towers. Because of this, people sometimes call it the White Swan. The castle protected people from enemies and was an important place for trade and life in the town. It was also connected with Cossack history. Today, Medzhibizh Castle is a museum. Tourists visit it, go on excursions, and watch festivals. The castle helps people learn about history.
Palinok Castle is a geometric masterpiece of military engineering, designed as a calculated response to the physics of siege warfare. Built on a 68-meter volcanic pedestal, its asymmetrical layout follows the terrain's natural contours to maximize defensive gravity. The architecture uses a 3-tiered nested system, high, middle, and low, where each level functions as an independent defensive unit. Its pentagonal bastions are a feat of old Italian geometry, specifically angled to eliminate blind spots and create overlapping fields of fire. Even the logistics were mathematical. The central well is a perfect cylinder 85 meters deep, requiring the excavation of roughly 417 cubic meters of solid volcanic rock. With walls up to 5 meters thick to dissipate the kinetic energy of cannon fire, Palahniuk isn't just a building, it's a survival algorithm in stone.
The mathematical story of the Golden Gate. Built in 1037, this gate is almost 1,000 years old. It only needs 11 more years to reach its big millennium birthday. Dimensions. The passage is 7.5 meters wide. That's like 3 small cars parked side by side. The ancient stone walls are 9.5 meters high, which is as tall as 5 very tall basketball players on each other's shoulders. Once in ruins, it was rebuilt in 1982 with a new wooden shell over the old stones. This reconstruction helps us see exactly how the gate looked centuries ago. The Golden Gate is a perfect mix of history and geometry. It shows that smart measurements create amazing things that we can still visit today.
The math behind Pokrovsk Museum. Located in the Dnipropetrovsk region, the Pokrovsk Historical Museum is more than just a building. It is a masterpiece where mathematics and architecture meet. Every detail was designed with geometric precision to create a space that is both beautiful and functional.
1. Symmetry and balance. The museum is famous for its bilateral symmetry. If you draw a line down its center, both sides mirror each other perfectly. This creates a sense of stability and classical beauty that welcomes every visitor. 2. Geometry and design. Architects used rectangles and cubes to design. These shapes aren't just for looks, they maximize the space, allowing large groups of people to move easily between exhibits. 3. Patterns and light. The floors feature stunning tessellations, tile patterns that fit together perfectly without any gaps. Even the windows are part of the math. They are placed at specific angles to let in natural light while protecting delicate, ancient artifacts from sun damage. Summary: from the floor tiles to the structural walls, this museum in the Dnipropetrovsk region is a real-life lesson in geometry.
St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev is a famous historical church built in the 11th century. Its architecture shows how mathematics is used in real life. The building has a symmetrical design, which means its parts are balanced and equal on both sides. This symmetry provides both beauty and stability. The cathedral has many domes. The main dome is center-placed, with smaller domes arranged in a geometric pattern. This creates incredible harmony and balance. The walls and arches use shapes like rectangles and semicircles. Arches are based on curved lines, which help the building stay strong and stand for centuries. The architects carefully calculated every proportion. St. Sophia Cathedral is a great example of how math and art work together in architecture.
Mathematical architecture of a historical building in Odessa. The Odessa National Academic Opera and Ballet Theater is one of the most beautiful historical buildings in Odessa. Its architecture is strongly connected with mathematics and geometry. The building was designed using symmetry, precise proportions, and clear geometric forms. The facade of the theater is symmetrical, which creates a sense of balance and harmony.
The mathematical secret of the Museum of the History of the Zaporizhian Cossacks is based on simple geometric principles. The building uses clear shapes, symmetry, and proportion. The left and right sides are balanced, creating harmony. The space inside is planned so visitors follow a logical path. Thus, the museum shows how mathematics, geometry, symmetry, and proportion makes architecture both functional and beautiful.
Distinguished guests, welcome to the heart of Kadıköy, the historic Süreyya Opera House. You are standing inside a dream nearly a century in the making. Commissioned in 1924 by Süreyya Pasha, this masterpiece spent 80 years as a cinema due to technical limitations. It wasn't until a meticulous restoration in 2007 that the cinema screen was finally lowered to reveal the original opera stage beneath. As you enter, look up at the 1920s frescoes, but more importantly, listen. This hall is a marvel of engineering. Without a single microphone or speaker, a whisper on stage reaches the very last row with crystal clarity. As we celebrate its 100th anniversary, step inside and witness where mathematics meets art. The doors are now open. Enjoy the performance.
Hello, today I will present you the Topkapi Palace. Topkapi Palace is in Istanbul, Turkey and was built by Mehmed II. Its perimeter is 1,400 meters and its area is 350,000 square meters except the Gulheim Park. If you look from the sky you can see it has a rectangular shape. Padishahs ruled the empire in the Topkapi Palace for 391 years. And then they moved to the Dolmabahce Palace. Thank you for listening to me. Padishahs ruled the empire here for 391 years. After that they moved to the Dolmabahce Palace. Thank you for listening to me.